Jen. Welcome back to Quantum Messages.
Oh, thank you, Anna. I appreciate it very much, my friend.
So much is going on today and yesterday and the day before that. And I'm just really excited to have you on today for doing a special channeling from the Azra stream.
Thank you. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you. So last interview, we were actually talking before this. Let's talk about what we were talking about before. So
Hmm.
before Jen and I started recording, we were talking about the Schumann Resonance, and both of us have been feeling a bit off this morning, as well as Jen's clients, and I'm sure many other people have been feeling off today as well. So I just wanted to bring it, to the forefront. Uh, Jen, you were kind of discussing it a little bit. What is your feeling about this off feeling with the Schumann resonance kind of going off the hook the past 24 hours, past like 50% or whatever it was,
Oh,
increasing
yes.
significantly. Now it's 30% in the last half an hour.
So the Schumann resonance basically monitors the frequency of Mother Earth and the frequencies that flow through Earth. Everything we know and have yet to discover is frequency and vibration. I downloaded the app that helps me monitor the Schumann resonance a while ago because I noticed that when the resonance breaches over 20%, I physically feel it. So I actually have alerts set to my phone for that. In the last 24 hours, the Schumann resonance has been fluctuating between 30 and 50%. And when we ask the galactic community or the energy that powers Jennifer's vessel, hey, what's going on? It's a little bit of both the Earth and what is going on in the planet Earth right now in regards to multicultural beliefs, politics, and other things, as well as the galactic community. So, from what we can understand, it's where the human consciousness is fluctuating within Mother Earth as well as all vibrational vessels where they are fluctuating within Mother Earth in tandem with the galactic community flowing frequency through us. Another way to understand that is whenever the sun star is having solar flares, that will also affect the Schumann resonance. When the event of 9/11 occurred, that affected the Schumann resonance. When we have global meditations for peace, or if there are a bunch of frustrated or fearful people at one time, that will also affect the Schumann resonance. So, part of my questioning with the universe is, well, what is going on to your universe that is causing this fluctuation?
Hmm. And do you think possibly that it could also be man-made as well? I mean, you did talk about the consciousness of the humans, but physical, like maybe technological things affecting the planet.
So there are humans that are very well aware of how frequency affects everything. So, for example, the general music that we listen to, the hertz frequency of that was altered long ago. And it was taken out of attunement with what we would call natural frequencies. And one of the things the universe gifted us with is part of this is humans putting out certain frequencies to keep things the way that they would like them to be. um, I have noticed lately in my own observation that there is a lot of what we would call shock and awe going on. And we have learned historically, both psychologically and sociologically, that if people's own energy frequencies are kept in a level of disarray, a level of not knowing what's going on or fear about what may be going on, they're more compliant. There was another word that is out of my brain at the moment, but they're more apt to kind of go with the flow or act like sheep, for lack of a better phraseology, as opposed to question. And if we have so many things going on at the same time, whether that be in our personal life or within the world in general, then we are less apt to question what is truly going on or be observant as to what is actually going on around us.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I just wanted to talk about some of the symptoms. Like a lot of times, the symptoms are difficulty sleeping, anxiety. You have physical symptoms like you feel sick to your stomach, or you're having the runs, or you know, all hot flashes, like almost like flu-like symptoms. And so, usually it doesn't last that long, but personally for me, what I realized that I needed to do is ground myself. So I'm going to the hot springs later today, so I can just
Mm.
like cleanse my body and detox and ground at the same time, which might make it worse. I don't know. It could.
Um, so one of the suggestions is water. Water is a vital life force. So whether you use a hand towel to kind of wash yourself with water or the hot springs, as you mentioned, um, personally, I have a lot of selenite around my house, which is thought to be a very cleansing and clearing type stone. Um, there's another stone that the name of it is not going through my mind in the moment, that I also keep underneath my station that I do video chats on and things that helps to clear the EMF fields or the electrical fields and such.
Shungite? Are you
Thank
using?
you, Shungite. I appreciate that very much because I'm looking at it under at my table and the name was not coming to my mind. So thank you very much for that.
Mhm,
Um, so part of the reason that I downloaded a Schumann app resonance monitor was you can feel it in your joints, you can feel it in your bones, you
mhm,
can feel it in your breath, you can feel it in many aspects. Right before we got onto this call, I
mhm,
had a hot flash and a need to go to the bathroom very quickly, which
mhm,
does not typically happen to me. You know, I feel fine physically now, because I used some sage, cedar, and lavender to clear my energetic field before we hopped on this call.
mhm,
And those scents remind me of ceremony that I had been blessed to flow through and help to calm my energetic fields.
mhm,
Um, Hydration, walking, sleep, proper hygiene, in essence, being good to you are the
mhm.
best ways to help mitigate these symptoms, but they are definitely felt by those in general, and especially by those that are sensitive to energy.
Yeah. And the other one I wanted to add is just getting off the screen and doing a little bit of a screen detox for a little bit.
Huge,
Disengaging.
huge. You know, we have a propensity to be asleep while we are awake. And that would be with any sort of media that is in front of you, whether that is a TV or a phone or things of that nature.
Mhm,
You can also listen to healing frequencies. You know, there's a whole level of sound frequencies that are actually very healing for you. So, you know, taking that moment to maybe listen to classical music or find some sort of meditative music or frequency that you can listen to.
mhm,
For example, I intentionally have a few sound bath videos on my personal YouTube page so that if somebody feels the necessity to ground themselves with music, they can
mhm,
have pure healing frequency music that enables them to do so.
mhm. Yeah, that's huge. Very, very huge. With all of these, why do you think the Schumann resonance is kind of going off the hook right now? Do you think what is it shifting? Like, where are we going towards, you know, in the
It's a
next 48 hours,
it's a
possibly?
part of a very large intergalactic dance.
Mhm,
And Ani, you and I have had this conversation slightly before, but I will bring it forward in this manner. This also tells me that the Azra energy is coming in alignment with what I jokingly call the microphone mouth of my vessel. Um, our trick for anyone who is watching is we shift the consciousness of Jennifer aside so that the infinite energy of the universe can speak. So we
mhm,
are a conscious channeler. Some individuals channel that are not as conscious of what they are flowing in that moment. We have learned over years of practice to consciously channel. But within that, the vessel of Jennifer is on an individuated conscious spiral dance of energy for the purposes of learning, as well as Miss Ani is on her own individuated conscious spiral dance. Every vessel within Mother Earth's container is on their own energetic spiral dance, sometimes connotated to with the chakras and meridians, um, as well as the galactic community. So each star is on its own spiral dance, each galaxy, and all of the galaxies put together in the grander universe. So, what we have come to learn in the tangible universe in the last few years, because we did not always flow with these things, is that several mediums of philosophies and belief patterns and systems flow upon certain cyclical years. So, for example, I believe it is the Ayurvedics who have said that there is a 2,600 year cycle. If you were to get sciencey on that, you would learn that the Milky Way galaxy is floating through a different arena of the galaxies and the universe than it has before. That means that we are all experiencing different frequencies than we have before. So, within that, right now, what we are experiencing within Mother Earth's domain, within her container as a living entity and vessel, is the endings falling into the beginnings. And there are several layers of philosophies and belief patterns and thoughts that flow along with this that culminate that between the years 2025 and I believe it is 2032, which intriguingly enough is the magical number of seven if you follow with numerology, that the endings are falling into the beginnings, which means that for old ways and systems to collapse, that's not always as fun as we would like it to be. You know, that becomes entertaining to let go of our old belief systems and patterns that were not fluid and beneficial for all. It was not reciprocal for all of the vessels and the living beings within Mother Earth's container. So when the Schumann resonance is going off the hook, what we are learning is that the energies are shifting and the old ways of being are falling down. And we are looking for new ways and new things to birth themselves into existence so that we can live in harmony all together. Back onto a level of science with it, you know, one of the things we know with energy is that energy will always balance one way or another. Energy will fluctuate and energy will balance. So when the Schumann resonance is going off the hook, that is the energetic systems of both the individuated consciousnesses, the group consciousnesses, Mother Earth in tandem with the galactic community, balancing their energetic waves. If you were to flow through a chakra and meridian system of viewing things, we view them as the energetic systems that allows fluidity to life, regardless of the language that some humans would like to use with it. That we are shifting from one layer of an energetic system into the next layer of an energetic system that some would connotate to as the heart chakra system. That is the language that the humans have given to it. And whenever you are shifting between energetic systems, there can be a little bit of chaos as you raise that frequency. Another layer of that is Mother Earth is her own living entity, and she is not able to breathe properly in the sense that we have disrupted the natural ways of her vibrational systems, such as the waterways and the airwaves and things of that nature. And so when we get more solar flares going on, that is the sun assisting Mother Earth with helping to recalibrate herself. You know, when we have earthquakes going on or volcanoes that are going off or fires, floods, and pandemics, oh my, um, those are the ways that Mother Earth is recalibrating herself with or without the assistance of those who live on her face.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And so in this recalibration process, we don't feel that great.
Not always, you know, because
Some people feel okay, but
we can become very complacent to the natural ways that we have become accustomed to living. You know, it reminds me of like the Groundhog's Day. You know, but truly, the only consistent thing throughout the universe is change. You know, energy is consistent. We are, energy vibrates, therefore we are. We are vibrational beings, right? And within that, though, energy fluctuates. And the only constant truly is change, but not everybody is amenable to the change. And sometimes with individuated consciousnesses, we don't change until we feel that squeeze, until we feel that true necessity to change, because we can become very accustomed to the way that we have learned to do things.
hmm, very true. So just a couple minutes ago, you had said that the Azra stream started coming in.
Mm,
But were you fully channeling at that time, or you were consciously channeling that part of the Azra stream was flowing through you?
mm.
Can you at that time or
So
within this period?
it's a flowing through. Um, the vessel of Jennifer is powered by the Azra energy stream, which powers many vessels at the same time throughout the multi-quantum universe, so interdimensionally. So to one degree, if you are breathing, if you are conscious, you are channeling. You are essentially channeling yourself and your higher self. It is the degree to which we are channeling that fluctuates, is the easiest way to express that. The way that I can understand that from a conscious perception is when I start to talk faster, when the information wants to flow through very quickly without a thought to it. So there
Mhm.
is no background mind conscious effort to
Mhm.
communicate. It is very fluid. And there tends to be a monotonal aspect to our language that I have been told by others. I can actually tell to a degree what level of the Azra energy we are streaming from. Sometimes there will be an almost Celtic or English accent that can come forward. And then
Mhm.
that tells me which part of the Azra energy stream we are streaming from in that moment.
Mhm.
Sometimes it is more monotone, which is more Cryon-esque, I guess you could say. Um, Depending on the level of monotonality, alerts my individuated consciousness to the level of galactic awareness our consciousness is being gifted with in that moment.
Mhm.
But it
Yeah.
is always a fluid energy stream.
Mhm. So, before we get into the channeling, I'm just curious what you think. There's a the different levels of channeling are this conscious channeling,
Hmm.
like trance channeling, where the consciousness of that body is put aside and another being comes forth, right?
Mm.
Right.
So,
And then there's
yes,
a third one, but when you're channeling, you're actually channeling, you are the Azure stream part of it. So you're
correct.
channeling it. You are not putting your consciousness aside. Does
So,
it
I
make
guess another layer of being able to express this is using Edgar Casey as an example. He
sense?
would allow the entity to fully intersect. He was not conscious while he was going there. Where there are others, my good friend listens to Blossom Goodchild, and she is aware of the channelings that occur and the energy that floats through her vessel in that time. One of the agreements that my vessel has made is that quantum energies are allowed to utilize this vessel in the furtherance of love and healing. But there is always a part of us that is there. We never fully leave our vessel in that aspect.
Mhm,
Um, and that is where you become aware of the conscious channeling that occurs.
mhm,
So in my day-to-day routine, we are Jennifer, powered by the Azra energy stream. So there is always a certain level of awareness with that Azra energy stream, right? But as we go into a more conscious trance channeling modality,
mhm,
we allow more fluidity of the Azure energy stream through our mind or our brain,
mhm,
which, in essence, as a metaphorical statement of it, is like a rapid processor, or almost like a supercomputer, so to
mhm,
speak. And
mhm,
we are allowing different frequencies through that supercomputer or a grander level of that frequency
mhm,
for the furtherance of understanding the galactic community and for the furtherance of love and healing for all.
mhm. Interesting. So I've noticed within the past 30 to 40 years that there's less of the trance channeling that's happening right now. Very few people, I don't even know anybody who's actually trance channeling right now.
The evolution of the human mind and brain.
Yeah.
So that would also be the layers of the Schumann resonance that is floating through all of the humans for the purposes of their calibration. And it is the evolution of humankind as a whole, where it is no longer necessary. You know, the true communication of the universe is vibration and frequency, not language. You know, it is that emotion, the vibration, the feeling that goes along with it. So, there is less trans channeling because it is not as necessary as it once was.
Hmm. Interesting. And it also brought up, what we were talking about yesterday in our community meeting, our ministry meeting, when we were talking about the telepathy tapes and the autistic children, the ones that don't speak. And I'm happy that Jen, you advocate for the autistic community for sure, and the neurodivergent community because you are neurodivergent.
Correct. In my humble opinion, over many years of being a behavioralist and working within the neurodivergent population, we have become aware that For example, I work best with nonverbal, non-ambulatory individuals because I can feel what it is that they need inside of me. And there's layers of telepathy that occur with that. Sometimes it is an image, sometimes it is a sentence, and sometimes there is not much communication, but I can still feel the need that their vessel is trying to communicate within that moment. Um, so parts of me have felt that layers of neurodivergence, not all, but certain layers, because nothing is unequivocally hands down concrete in every situation, um, are almost like an evolution of the mind. For example, most neurodivergents, their Hertz processing within their mind is much greater than a neurotypical. So, for example, in my regards, my brain takes in more energetic frequency and information than most of the neurotypical population and does not have much of a dumping ground. And so I have had to learn to have filters for fluid communication and participation within the earth realm and to be a full functioning adult, I guess you could say. I was just very lucky to be. Um, Diagnosed with layers of neurodivergence at an early age. But within that, when we open up the Hertz frequency of our mind, that is where the fluidity of the universe flows through for channeling and other things of that nature. I am very giddy that these films and recognitions are coming out. It reminds me of one of my favorite movies, What the Bleeps Through the Rabbit Hole. And within that movie, they talk about how a group of monkeys in Australia were taught one lineage of sign language, and a group of monkeys in the United States were taught a different lineage of sign language. And over time, without ever meeting each other, they both learned the different layers of sign language they were both exuding. And the part of the reason of that study was to help tangibly show the group consciousness and the energetic fields that occur within the earth realm.
Hmm. Fascinating. Very, very
Yes.
interesting. Well, I'm really glad that the neurodivergent population is getting recognition. And from what I've noticed, there are more neurodivergent people here than ever before. And part of it is, because of massive amounts of chemicals pumped into our system. And there might be another reason why as well. So what do
Think
you
of
think?
also the layers of twin studies, how
Mhm.
twins have their own language, how twins do not need verbal language to communicate with each other, hands down, and how many twins can feel what is going on with the other twins, regardless of distance or time or any of that.
Yeah. And also
Just
with,
another layer.
yeah, mothers with their children as well.
Yes.
They
Yes.
Yeah, I had an experience one time with my daughter. We were in Trader Joe's and I was checking out, and I literally heard her say, "I need to go to the bathroom." And I turned to Sophine, who's my daughter. She has my middle name. And I told her, I'm like, "Sophine, go to the bathroom." And she looked at me, and then she went to the bathroom, and then she came back, and she was really tripped out because she never said that to me.
It took me a while in my late 20s to early 30s to realize that what I was hearing was not always said out loud.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because somebody would, in their mind, ask me for something, for example, in a work scenario, and then
Hmm.
I would just grab it without them ever asking.
Hmm.
But those are layers of how the quantum universe actually operates. We became very verbose in our culture with many words for the same things. When, if you realize that every thought you have is actually its own energetic vibration, and that energetic vibration of your thoughts that start in your mind at first do not just stick inside of your skin, they vibrate outside of your body. Your heartbeat is another layer of proof that things do not just stick inside of our vessel or our body, they actually resonate beyond us. And part of the reason why you will hear that when people are wanting to bring things into their lives, they will use both the thought, sound, action, because that is more energy coupled with more energy to help you produce manifestation.
Yeah, it's really fascinating and interesting. I'm excited to learn more about the telepathy tapes and more science coming out with that, and I'm really happy that they're getting recognition.
Yes.
So, are you ready to channel?
Yes, definitely, my friend.
You kind of already are channeling, but I mean, getting into the deeper channeling.
Right.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Tell us how. Tell us all you're
no,
doing.
you are good. I think one of the most important things right now is everybody remembering to be good to them. To remember to take care of yourself because
Mhm.
the quantum universe is shifting. We are on this most beautiful grand spiral dance. Each one of us has our own layers of an electrical body and electrical system that collaborates with all of the frequencies and electrical systems of the quantum universe. And everything is shifting. And it is okay with that. There is no need to be fearful. It is really a beautiful dance if you are able to step back and breathe and be aware of this lovely dance that is going on. And in that sense, one of the things that everybody can do is make sure that you are breathing. Do a very good deep breath every day to nourish your entire body. If you find your mind or your energy going in a direction that you are not amenable with, take that as a cue to slow yourself down and to take a deep breath. Right now, there are great shifts between the Earth domain and every single star system and galaxy that you can imagine. And within that, remember that we all came here for a reason. Earth is the place to be right now, my friends. It is truly the place to be because what is going on in Earth realm is very phenomenal. And it is beautiful, even if it may seem chaotic. There was always a method to the madness, as the humans like to say. And enjoy the ride while we have it. Every single breath that we have within the human format with the individuated consciousness is a sheer blessing of all of the quantum energies working together for the benefits of our experience. If it were not for the vibration of water, air, fire, and earth, we would not be having this fluid experience that we are blessed to have in this moment. If it were not for the infinite energies that power all of the vessels within the earth domain, we would not be having this blessed experience that we are having in this moment. And it is all of that energy collaborating together so that we can have these most amazing experiences. And when you are able to step back and realize that all of these frequencies are working together for our benefit, you can realize how amazing this grand dance of the energetic fields truly are. Because each individual human and vessel, because it is not just the humans, my friends, the trees, the flowers, the bees, the animal kingdom as a whole, we are all vessels within our own right. And all of those vessels have the commonality of the vibration of water. Any living format has at least 70% water within it. One of the best things that we can do is on a daily basis wish love, grace, and gratitude through all of the vibrations of water. That is one of the ways that we can help to both heal ourselves and all vessels within the Mother Earth domain and other domains as well. In our humble experience, the Sun Star is the first portal from the Earth domain out into the galactic community. Each star that we are aware of and those that we are not aware of yet are also their own individuated portals. The Milky Way galaxy is its own level of portal. You have your pulsars, your quasars, your black holes, and your event horizons. They are all other layers of galactic energetic portals. And they are fluid portals that, if you so choose to, have fun and to go astral traveling using your individuated consciousness. You can utilize the energy that powers your vessel to flow through all of these different portals and experience more of the galactic community. And as Jennifer joked boats, please return to your vessel when you are done. But within that, each one of those has its own layer of energetic calibration, and they are all moving in this most beautiful dance that works together. It reminds us visually, if you would like a metaphor, of the most intricate clock you could ever imagine, and all of the wheels that are working in tandem together so that you have this perception of time for the fluidity of your individuated consciousness. Because time is an interesting concept that does not carry through the entire energetic galactic community. Time is more for the individuated consciousness perception through the galactic community. But when you move outside of time and space, you have much more of a fluid energy ability to flow through. And you move into the realms of the individuated consciousness through the group consciousnesses and through the galactic community. And the classic entertaining thing is that truly all is now. Everything we know and have yet to discover is actually happening all at the same time. But for the purposes of our learning and experience, there are layers of the falsity of the separation, and that gives us that time and space construct and experience within it. But we would humbly encourage people to please utilize the energy that powers your vessel to experience, to flow through, to go through, you know, um, to look at what is beyond even the earth domain in that moment. Because yes, we are here and we are here for this experience, but how much fun can you have mixing and mingling all of that energy together, my friends? And there are a lot of things going on at planet Earth right now. And that is why, a lot of us chose to be here. In Jennifer's experience, her true only job is to flow as much love, grace, and gratitude through her vessel while she has it, and through the meridian and chakra system of Mother Earth as we flow through these times of change, as we learn to think more as a collective instead of as an individuated. We work better together, my friends. We really do. When we work in harmony with all of the energy that is going on, more growth and more fluidity with reciprocity is able to occur. And so that is partly why we are seeing great change in all of the different countries and areas of Mother Earth. And the other aspect of this is Earth is a living entity in which their natural ways of being have been disrupted by a lot of concrete on her face, for example. Um, a lot of the natural water systems have been disrupted. A lot of the continental systems have been disrupted. And with Earth being a living entity, any entity, whether it is any vessel format, human or not, will do its best to recalibrate and become in harmony within itself over time. So, whether you want to adhere to it or not, this is one of the reasons why we are witnessing mass climate change. Places that have not had fires and floods are having fires and floods. Places that have not had as much wintering are going through more wintering. Places that have always been fluid with water are now barren. Places that have been barren are now fluid with water. This is, in essence, Mother Earth doing her best to continue her own survival. And whether we as humans, plants, or animals comply with this or not is neither here nor there, because the earth will rectify herself one way or another, with or without our assistance. Now, with this, we have the galactic community that is coming for assistance. So each star portal, each galaxy is flowing through at different frequencies to assist Mother Earth through these transitions, which is also why we are seeing the Schumann resonances going off the hook. This is why we are seeing different things occur. And realistically, to learn to fluctuate in a level of harmony with all energies, with all vibrational beings within the earth plane, all of the old systems must fall down. And so, what we have been witnessing as humans is not only the climate change that has been going on, but we're watching the, for lack of a better phraseology, political atmospheres changing. So, we are watching worldwide, systemically, things are breaking down. The old systems are no longer beneficial for all. They are no longer reciprocal for all. And until those systems completely break down and new ones arise that are beneficial for all vessels, things are going to be slightly interesting. The first word that wanted to come out, to be honest, was chaotic. Um, and it can seem like chaos to us, but we are mindful of the phrase as what seems chaos to the fly is normal to the spider. And that may not be the normal human way of saying that, but it gives you the ideology of the expression that there is a grand symphony to the energy that even from our individuated perception, if it may seem like chaos, it is actually very harmonious at a different level. And that is where we encourage people to please go outside of their individuated perception and do your best to float through the energy that is going on and look at the grander scale of the energy. Look at the frequency of the energy that are flowing through. For example, on the lovely Super Bowl day that happened for the humans, partially more so in the US, I guess you could say, um, we witnessed a chaos of blame or distance or pointing a finger, I guess you could say. And so that was happening in a multiplicity of arenas at the same time. And when we bear witness as our inner witness to the same flavor of energy, such as blame, floating through many layers of both individuals and society, then that alerts us to that is a layer of energy that is being flitted through the group consciousness for alleviation, for clarity, um, so that the energy can move. Because constants that we are aware of is that energy will always move. It will move at different layers, but the layers that it moves is different for everyone and everything. The commonality in our experience is the vibration and frequency of love. And everything we know and have yet to discover is born from that vibration of love, whether we realize it in that moment or not. Because even some things that humans may connotate to as non-communicable emotions actually are born from the originality of the vibration of love. When a human or an animal or a vessel finds themselves frustrated, upset, angry, or hurt, that usually emanates from a point of a love of something that they feel that they no longer have or are no longer in harmony with, or a fear of a love of something that may be gone away. And when we realize that we have these commonalities of vibration, that is when we come in harmony with each other. We all share all of these elementals and vibrations and frequencies. We all share the air. We all share the water. We all share the fire. We all share Mother Earth. We all share the galactic communities that exist. And we are very particular with communities because humans have had a hilarity with the different layers of galactic communities that exist. And the reality is, it is all the same vibration, my friends. It is just different expressions of that vibration that we become aware of. And we are gifted with flowing through tangible awareness and experience. It is truly a gift. I have heard in a different realm that truly life has no meaning. Our gift is that we give life meaning. So, what meaning do you want to give to your life and to the life of others? That is a choice. That is a choice and an evolution that we are blessed to have. So, in this time, my friends, although it may seem intriguingly chaotic, it would behoove all of us to take a moment to breathe, to be grateful for the experiences that we have, regardless of what that experience is. What can it teach us? What can we do about it? Once you know, what did you do with it? So if you have an experience that you would find non-amenable to your vessel or to your experience, what can you learn from that non-amenable experience to have more amenable experiences down the line? Life is not so much what happens to you, it is what you learn from it and what you do with it that matters the most. So that as we learn to flow through what we go through, using energy as the example of how to be our best selves when we are gifted with an individuated consciousness, using energy to learn. So, how do we become more fluid with the quantum energy fields as a whole? How do we become more fluid with our individuated experience? And what can we learn from these experiences? Life is going to happen regardless. And choosing your way through life is truly the gift that we have with that. So, learning to, as some of our elders will say, be the candle in the wind tunnel. Learning your groundation station, as Jennifer likes to say it. Jennifer likes to teach grounding methods that help humans ground on their daily basis so that regardless of what happens around them and their exterior life, they are still able to center back into themselves and then choose their way through their experience. Asking yourself, what can you do and what is beyond your control in any given moment? Realizing that everything is connected, the all is the now, the all are the one and the one are the all. And that the better that you can be to yourself, the better that you know yourself, the better that you know your innate reactions to things and the things that occur, the better everything else will be around you. You are always emitting a frequency, you are always emitting a vibration as a vibrational being. Excuse us when we channel a lot at once. That can occur, earth burps that occur. So thank you for understanding that. then learning that once you are mindful of the frequencies that you emit on a regular basis, what frequencies do you choose to admit to mix and mingle with all other frequencies? What frequencies do you choose to add to both the earth realm, the group consciousness, and the galactic consciousness as a whole? These are choices, my friends. These are choices that we are gifted with, to be able to choose our frequencies and our vibrations. And the more mindful that society as a whole can be of their thoughts and emotions, the better our society will be as a whole. These are the ways that we heal both the earth, ourselves, and societies as a grander whole. It starts by going inside, and then the vibration goes to the outside. You know, many ideologies, philosophies, and religions will teach you that the way out is in. That is the reason that they teach this. Every single thought you have is a vibration and a frequency. Monitoring your thoughts, vibrations, and frequencies that you emit is the best gift that you can give to both yourself and all you know and have yet to discover. And this is what the Galactic Community is trying to help us with in these moments. This is where we have the Schumann Resonance going a little hilariously off the hook for some of us. And it is to help us be our best self always, kind of thing. Now, does that mean that life is going to be perfect? No. Does that mean that we are going to have amazing experiences 24/7? Probably not. But it is through these experiences that we learn about both of ourselves and others. You know, it is not that life becomes completely harmonious for any individuated experience. It is that we learn to use our toolbox and learn what we have learned about ourselves and others to create more harmony through our lives so that we can flow through what we go through. And that is a phrase that the universe has really been flowing through Jennifer to help others with. You know, really the question is, how do we flow through what we go through on a regular basis for both ourselves and the quantum universe as a whole? And truly enjoy the experience while you have it. Whether you are stuck in traffic, having a hard time with a homework assignment, having a hard time with your neighbor, having a hard time in school or work or whatever it may be, if you can go back to remembering that you were blessed to have the experience in the first place, that each breath you take is a gift and not a guarantee, that quite literally all of the energy that it takes to maintain our vessel or be our vessel is collaborating for our experience, and that that is a gift that can help you better center back into yourself and remember that the gift life has to offer, you know, no matter what it is, no matter what it may be, even if it is from a random hot flash from the Schumann resonance or feeling the need to sleep more from the frequencies that are flowing through Mother Earth, or what is going on in greater society around us, remembering that it is a gift and not a guarantee. That is the blessing of life. We are quantum energetic beings that are infinite. Every single vessel you know and have yet to discover, whether it is plant, animal, any vessel across the board, any container that is a vibrational matter living type vessel within this earth, every moment that we have is a blessing and not a guarantee. And the more that we can learn to live into that now, the more that we can learn to appreciate every single moment that we have to experience, the better our conscious experience is. Part of what we have witnessed with human society as a whole, for example, is the, what is the proper word, please, universe? Is we feel that there's this guarantee of life and its exponentiality. You know, we feel that we've become almost complacent with the next day is a guarantee, the next moment is a guarantee. And we have, to a degree, forgotten the gift of the now. We have, to a degree, forgotten that nothing is a guarantee. So, back to we are infinite energetic beings that are given the gift of an individuated conscious experience. So our individuated consciousness is connected to all energy and to the group consciousness and through these infinite energies that flow through the nothing and the void. One of the ways that Jennifer consciously channels is that we flow through the nothing, the void, 0 point. Humans have too many names for the same things that are hilariously intriguing to us. And it is, in essence, the Azra energy stream is part of the first reflection from when there was no energy to energy, to when there was no frequency to frequency, to when the universe first started, and what some humans term as the first reflection. And then we flow through the first reflection, through all of the galactic community, to what humans would consider the here and now. And we have to be mindful that we chose to be here and now, because for Jennifer, the fluid quantum universe is much more fun than the individuated experience at sometimes. However, she chose to be here for an individuated conscious experience, for the tangible conscious experience, which is a true gift. If you think that every single one of us is at least 70% water, that we also have air, earth, and fire within our systems that help all of our systems to work together. And that it is all of those vital life forces in tandem with the infinite energy that powers our vessel through our mind for our conscious experience. That is a gift. That is an amazing gift that we are blessed to have. But that complacency that the next day will happen or the next year will happen, we have become so accustomed to that false guarantee of life, I guess you could say, would be a way of positing that for the human conscious understanding, that we forget to be in the here and now. We can be so prone to getting our energy in a disarray over something that has not even happened yet, or to projecting into a future that has not played itself out yet. And the reality is that it is all now. Even with the quantum universe, we will hear individuated consciousness talk about different things that have happened in different arenas with the galactic communities: Atlanteans, Palladians, Lumerians, Draconians, um, Avalonians. We could go on for days with the different levels of the galactic community, even with different layers of the galactic councils and federations. And our way of trying to be all encompassing and our daily flowing with love, grace, and gratitude through all vibration has become the galactic community. Because much like we have communities here on the earth domain, we have our individual communities in which the neighborhoods we live. We have our cohort communities within schools that we may be flowing through, or jobs that we may be flowing through, or states that we may live in, or countries that we may live in. There are many different layers to the way of looking at your community. The Galactic Kingdom is also its community, and there are many layers to that community. But the reality is that it is all connected. It is all one fluid level of energy that flows through all, and vibration flows through all of those vibrations are connected. So which layer of community do you choose to be aware of with your conscious awareness in any given moment? And what do you choose to add to those layers of community? And the quicker that we learn to, as individuated consciousnesses, flow with love, grace, and gratitude through community and harmony for all. There is the please love yourself always, but please love all others also in tandem with that, and all community in tandem with that. And those are the energetic shifts that are really needed in this time, this space, and this beautiful place. Because we really are lucky to be vibrating through this particular time, space, and beautiful place, even if time is an illusionary concept for the individuated conscious perception of the fluidity of their experience. And the more that we learn to flow through what we go through, back to that phrase again, that has been reiterated, that flowing, instead of stagnation, let us flow, the better sought that we will be as whole. What the galactic community is asking is to please let go of any squabblings, I guess you could say, or any disarray or perceptions of disarray that we may have had over the human concept of time and space over time. And to remember that when all is said and done, we are all energetic vibration beings here for the individuated experience. And that is our commonality. Focus on the commonality instead of the things that we may or may not have in common. And that will be the key to our success, is focusing on those commonalities and what we can do together to flow together with frequency and vibration. And I guess that would be, Azra is kind of calming down the energy in this moment. I can feel that flittering through.
Yeah, I just let you flow, or Azra stream flow. The Azra stream flow.
Correct. I can usually tell personally. Um, One thing I have reminded the community, the galactic community of, is the
Mhm.
human needs to breathe.
Right.
So, one monitor for others that channel or who are working on their channeling
Hmm.
is um, how fast the information flows through your body. And one way that I have learned that the energy is, for lack of a better way of saying, ending transmission,
Hmm.
um, would be the slower my speech becomes and the more that I breathe in between. However, there are some caveats. If it is a very particular message that the energy has been trying to flow through for a while, then it will become very distinctive, slow, and monotone and repeated.
Hmm.
So that's how I have learned flow through what you go through is a message that the universe would really like to get
Hmm.
out to the quantum energetic beings, because that will become very distinctive and slow.
Hmm. Yesterday we were talking about super souls, over souls, and souls yesterday,
Mm.
and how I was going deep into Laniakea, which is the super cluster, in our kind of near universe.
I'm going to
Uh,
have to look that up.
yeah, in our near universe, we were talking about that, and then how I came to this idea that she holds about 400,000 or 400 million. Could be wrong. 400, I think 400 million galaxies. She's huge.
Hmm.
And within those galaxies, there are gajillion, stars, you
Hmm.
know? And so I feel like she is a super ancient soul holding all of these galaxies. And then the galaxies are like the oversoul. And then the soul is the star. And then it's like you said, this higher group, Azure Stream said this hierarchy, this like drop down type of energy stream. So we want to talk about that? Can you talk about it a little
Oh,
bit?
yeah. No, I love the way that you eloquently verbiaged all of that,
Mhm.
because some concepts are not as easy for the human mind to conceptualize or verbiage. And I first learned the word oversoul within the last 2 years or three or so. 2 to 3 years, I guess, would be better said. I have always utilized the terminology energy that powers the vessel because that was the least restrictive way that I knew how to express that. And so it reminds me of how when I work with people as an intuitive coach, or helping them to come more into calibration with their own, my vessel is Jennifer. One step outside of the vessel is the Azura energy streaming. And if you keep going outside of that, to many layers, and it is all the way around, much like a bubble, then that's where you get the Azra energy streaming. And the love that you were talking about, whose name is not flittering through my mind in this moment, um, is a portion of the galactic community. So, for example, we are all mirrors of each other. All right. So, Mother Earth, a living entity, her waterways are much like the human cardiovascular system, and the trees are much like her lungs. Just to give a metaphorical example of this, right? And the same is true of the galactic community. So, when we were speaking yesterday, Masani, it reminded me of how the energy streaming that you were speaking of is a large portion of the galactic community that holds many galaxies. So, much like the heart or lungs
Mhm.
or different aspect of the vessel of the galactic community. I was made aware of in my consciousness through a dear friend of mine who no longer resides in vibrational format within the earth realm, but more a pure energy format with the energy streams. She always spoke to me about of being able to channel one of nine. And in the last 2 years, I used the interwebs to research, well, what is the one of nine or the council of nine? And then I learned a little bit more. For me, for my own purposes and individuated consciousness, purposes of validation, I have not typically listened to worldwide channelers or anyone of that nature until the last 2 years. More so because I was instructed that my lessons had been learned and it was okay to release some of those restrictions for the purposes of validation and understanding. And through that, what we have learned is doing a lot of research on the name Azra and Azura. We came into Sumerian writings, I guess would be the proper term for
Was
that.
it
Old,
Zoroastrian?
uh, yeah, old, very old
Oh.
Sumerian
Mhm.
type writings.
Mhm.
And because there's different ways of looking at different phylums of energy and such.
Mhm.
And with that, there is a vibration of energy that is thought to be the first vibration. And they are what is called the first reflection. And what you are about to get now is a combination of my own nerdy research and then the quantum universe flowing at the same time, because I like to be as honest as I can, or express it in the best way possible, that I have received the information. So this is a little bit of a combination of the both. That the Azra energy stream flows through the nothing into the something. That is directly quantum and universal. What was learned is the first reflection, and that was through studying the Sumerian language for the word Azra, Azrael, and Azura, for the best way of positing that. And so the first reflection of energy through the nothing into the something is thought to be of the angelic phylum or kingdom, as some humans like to connotate it to. For my consciousness, it is just a layer of vibration and how it is vibrating, right? Because all of these things are layers. We like the ideology of bubbles because it offers fluidity within the energetic concepts of things and constructs. From the first reflection, the Council of Nine emulates itself. The Council of Nine is like literally much like the energy that you referenced, Miss Ani,
Mhm.
um, quadrants. Thank you, universe, for the proper terminology. We appreciate you humbly for giving us a proper term. Quadrants of the galactic community. So
Mhm.
humans have yet to discover the gist of what
Mhm.
the cosmos is out there. We have discovered maybe if we're lucky, 25%. And what we think we have discovered is literally a drop in the bucket of the oceans of discovery that are available to us, or that are out there. So you have your first reflection, you have the Council of Nine, and then those Council of Nine are essentially like quadrants of the universe. So to better express that, for more conscious understanding and fluidity, the Milky Way galaxy is in a quadrant of the universe, in tandem with other galaxies, such as the Pleiadians and Arcturians and things of that nature. And if you were to take the Milky Way galaxies and the other galaxies that we are aware of in that quadrant, that
Mhm.
one quadrant is an infinite amount of quadrants, my friends. This is why it is not always easy for the human mind to understand this, right? And so, my dear friend shared with me from the astral realm within the last year. She was like, "Oh, silly girl, you haven't figured this out yet fully." So she gifted me with the boof moment of that. Um, I've always believed since I was a small child that we gift ourselves with tips, tricks, and clues to who we are on an infinite layer when we come through. That will be your astrology and numerological aspects of life. So, numerologically speaking, my name by birth or by my name, regardless of how, if it is Jen, Jennifer, or Jenny, is nine. And so I have known since I was about 13 that nine is a very pivotal number for me that holds lots of information. And what my friend gifted me with was child. I channeled one of nine, you channel nine of nine. And so that helped for my conscious brain to better quantify where we are emulating from within the galactic community. See, this is where you're getting the intra more Azra energy and Jennifer energy at the same time with
Mhm.
that conscious channeling aspects. Um, so, in essence, what my dear friend Jessica helped to help my mind quantify with is my individuated consciousness quantify within the infinite energetic realm is that the Azra energy stream was part of the first energy that occurred within the universe, that it emulates through the nothing into the something with the first reflection, through the Council of Nine, through nine, which would be a quadrant of that galactic community. And from that, we have the layers then that flitter down through the rest of the galactic community. Um, and then remembering that the all is the one is the all. It is still that singularity of the first little swirly of vibration that ever occurred in the first place. And then where I get my awe enamoring, oh my gosh, golly, look at all of the amazing flipping things we have done with the vibration of energy. Holy cannoli, Batman. The levels of stars, the levels of galaxies, the layers of planets that we haven't even discovered yet that also have life. I think the silly humans have just proved that Mars has other parts of life that we were unaware of, with like waterways and proof of things. Like, really, you finally figured this out, eh? I mean, I knew that as a wee child that Mars used to hold life. It just took the scientists until this age for them to figure it the hecker out. Um, Tangibly, welcome to the bane of my frustration my entire life, or layers of it. I kind of applaud the scientists when I'm like, oh, you finally figured that out, eh? Like telepathy with the telepathy tapes. Oh, you're finally realizing that you don't need to be verbal to still communicate. Bravo, children, bravo.
Mhm.
By the way, I also call myself a child of the universe because, in my humble opinion, if you are vibrating through an individuated consciousness, you are a child of the universe, regardless of your age. I do not care what the physical age that the universe says that you are or the humans say that you are at any given point in time. We are all children of the universe, my friends.
Mhm.
And especially when we are vibrating through this conscious level of perception, we are all children of the universe. So I do not mean that as a derogatory statement, I guess is what I was trying to clarify. Um, but it is layers of vibration. And even at the different layers of vibration, we have found disharmony, because you will hear that Atlanteans don't like Lemurians. Get over it, children. They get along. At some point within the vibration, they have found harmony, so huzzah. But that's where I have become accustomed to the terminology of galactic community to really reinforce that communal layer of life that we should all be emulating.
Yeah, that's pretty deep.
Well, think of the many phrases that we have heard as humans over time. We work better together. It takes a village to raise a child.
Mhm.
How many cultures and philosophies have tried to teach living and working in community? And how much of a struggle bus are we still on to do so?
Yeah, there's huge division right now.
Well, we are watching a huge, holy cannoli Batman divide. And I am doing my best to not be judging McJudgerpants with what I see with some of the things that occur. Part of the gift of knowing yourself and your innate thoughts and reactions to things is I have been blessed to learn the tonality and words of my own mind.
Mhm.
So when I find I live in the United States, so I am more aware of what occurs in the USA, I'm aware worldwide because I do my best to be mindful, to witness the energy but not be absorbed by it. Um,
Mhm.
there's a huge divide with what is the right way to proceed with things, and to be honest, I was taken back a little bit with so many things that I have lived lifelong with being accustomed to being taken down and broken down. And in one of my daily breath works, the universe blessed me with, silly child, I'm going to give you the direct language the universe said it to me in. Silly child, for new things to pop through, the old things must break down, regardless in the manner in which they are broken down. And I was like, poof, mind blown. I never thought that I would be grateful for certain systems that I myself had been accustomed to as a guarantee of life, or a right of life, a
Mhm.
civil right for another way of verbiaging that.
Mhm.
And we are seeing a great divide between our political realms, our ideologies on how we should proceed in Mother Earth, how we address climate change. Do we even acknowledge the fact of climate change or what is happening with the different ways that Mother Earth is operating, but being mindful of my own language, then I like to use hilarious cliches. So, in the words of Ice Cube, my checking myself before I wreck myself, the moment that I find myself becoming judgy, or, because when we point a finger, there's fingers pointing right back at us, to then step back into my witness mode and instead of the judgy mode and look at the energy as a whole and do my best to see what the energy is telling me. And I believe that is also why there's a push from the universe for community and to flow through what you go through.
Very true. I do not think that the systems have fallen down yet.
No,
There would be more chaos. There will
the
be more
best.
chaos, but
I'm laughing only because of the way. So, for the explanation of others how channeling can work,
mhm.
as you were speaking, Ani, the universe put this answer into my brain, and I'm laughing because I'm like, really, this is the metaphor you want me to offset to the rest of the world right now? Okay, fine. That also gives you the duality that can occur, the multiplicities that can
Mhm.
occur with that. The best is yet to come.
Wow. Thanks,
So,
universe.
right. Well, and it bodes back
True.
to what we may think of as not the funnest thing to flow through is
Yeah.
actually what brings us into our highest self in existence,
Mhm.
into our best version of ourselves. So sometimes we need a circumstance that may, in the moment, knock us to our knees, if you're speaking on an individuated level, but is truly the thing that causes us to stand the tallest in the grand longevity. And that is how they are going to explain the best is yet to come.
True. I mean, it's
Because
just how long? That's the question. Even though there's
bingo.
no such thing as time, even though we're experiencing some
Well, think
form
of it in this manner. It's
of
not
time.
just the grand United States that is going through these things.
Mhm.
Right now, currently, as you and I sit for where we are in the universe, there are issues in the Middle East. There are issues in Greater Europe. There are wars, I believe, that are occurring on one layer or another, um, on every continent of Mother Earth's face, I guess is the other way of saying that. So, all the way across the board, we are looking at human rights coming to the forefront. There are a layer, I believe, if I'm remembering, so my way of being aware and not being wet behind the ears, but not being absorbed, is I read the titles to news articles, but I do not always read the full article so that I have a level of awareness, but I am not going to be overwhelmed with the shock and awe that has been going through the world lately, um, that it was in the Middle East, child marriage was just reapproved again,
Yeah.
and that women's rights were just squashed again at different levels. Then we have the war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine. We have what is going on in the Gaza Strip. We have what is going on in the United States in regards to removing ourselves from the World Health Organization, into removing ourselves from climate change layers that the world was working together with, and removing certain policies and things, such as the DIEA, by the way. Most social media and things are forgetting the A, which is accessibility, in case anybody wanted to know what that is. Um, but within that, we are watching these shifts worldwide, was my point. It was
Mhm.
not really to call out any one necessary thing, but my point was that we are not alone in this experience, that human rights across the board and Mother Earth's rights within herself are coming into play, coming into question, and altering for better or worse. And that is part of the energies that we are witnessing play out in this moment.
Yeah, I heard someone say you might know who he is, Matthias De Stefano.
Nope, no clue.
Yeah. So, anyways, he's like his channeler. And so he said something that really stuck with me. But he basically said that until we within our consciousness realize that we are Earth, that all of us are Earth, and say, instead of saying I'm a human, and
Right.
that's a tree and that's a bee, but no, we're all one together as Earth. Until we do that or get to that level of consciousness, then
That is where you will hear the Azra
that's
energy
just going to hit the
reiterate.
fan.
That's where you'll hear the Azra energy stream reiterate consistently
Yeah.
that if it were not for the vital life forces working together for our tangible experience, we would not exist. And those vital life forces are the air, the earth, the water, and the fire, and conjunction with the energy that powers our vessel. And it is all of those energies working in collaboration with each other. And so that individual is very spot on. The other layer that the universe has directed us with in this last year is in my daily routine, um, thanking all of the molecules of air in my vessel thanking all of the molecules of water in my vessel, thanking all of the molecules of earth in my vessel, and thanking all of the molecules of fire in my vessel for my sheer experience and pontification within a human format. Because as we are individuated consciousnesses on planet Earth having an experience, we are also our own planet and galaxy to all of the cells and molecules in our body.
Mhm.
Whether we understand that conceptually as a whole or not, we are but a grain of sand or a drop of water, metaphorically speaking, to the infinite energies that power our vessels.
Mhm.
Just one little swirly, one little drop, if you can imagine the most minuscule thing on a quantum level, that is what we are in regards to the entire quantum universe, right? But look at this amazing experience we are best to have. And so, to that tenement, everything is a mirror. We are also that to all of the cells and molecules of our body. And the more that anyone can be mindful to thank all of the elements of air, earth, water, and fire, and soul, infinite energy, whatever term suits you best and you feel best with, be thankful for that on a regular basis. The better all of those vital life forces will work together for your benefit.
Mhm. Yeah, well said.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Sometimes the universe gifts us with very eloquent ways of explaining things, and
It's
other
a good
times we find ourselves going, I don't know what to say.
it's a good reminder for all of us, yeah, to appreciate the life that is given to us and the life force and everything,
Well, the
and that,
biggest lesson, too, sorry to cut you off, my love.
yeah.
Um, the biggest lesson, too, and this is something I was mindful with in my teens, I was watching all of these governments make all of these rules over the water. In particular, the United States was on a big push in the 90s at some point with laws over the ocean and what you can and cannot do to the ocean. And in my early 20s, I was traveling to Mexico on the Baja Coast a lot. And the realization hit me, everybody needs to be in alignment with what they do with the water because all of the water is fluid and connected. So if we as the United States say that, well, we're going to do this or that with our water, if Mexico is not in alignment with that, what good does it do? Because all the water is fluid and going back and forth, my friends. And
Mhm.
same is true with the air. Same is true with the sun and the sky and the earth that we all live on. That unless as a world we can come into an alignment with how we treat our world,
Mhm.
we're not going to experience the harmony that most seek and wish for.
Yeah. Do you think right now that Earth is in fourth density, but we are third density, and we are not in vibrational resonance with her because she's at a higher density?
So, Earth is always fluctuating, and it depends on your perception of her fluctuation.
Mhm.
So, from layers of understanding, if you were to breach fourth density, you would not be having a tangible experience because fifth dimensional vibration is a vibrational experience and not a tangible vibration experience, um, which has many layers, but that is as simplistically as we are going to explain it in this moment, because that is a very complex concept that some can have a hard time digesting, for lack of a better way of saying it. So, Earth has the capacity to hold infinite densities and dimensions. Um, so, really, the only difference in our awareness is the most simplest fluctuation of frequency. So for example, those that we love that are no longer tangible, as we experience the tangible universe for what it is, they are still vibrating in a frequency around us, but it's just not all have a perception to that frequency, right? So that would be a fifth dimensional frequency vibrating through the earth plane. So when you have your intuitive mediums and channelers and things of that nature, right? So the infinite quantum universe and the galactic community also fluctuates through the earth community, which is layers of pure vibration. So I giggled at your question because, gosh, since I was about 25 or so, we had the understanding, thank you, universe, that Earth is not just first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. It is infinite dimensionality at the same time. It is what level of the different dimensionality are you aware of at any given point in time. Really, the true shift is in your own conscious awareness of this infinite dimensionality. Now, to piggyback that with the silly goose science people that are catching up to what we have always understood, ha ha ha. I do remember reading the title to an article in Popular Mechanics. I'll give them the credit for where that came from. I did not read the full article, let alone that. That the silly science people, with all of their quantum processors lately and their push for AI and all of these other things, they did some test that proved like 100 and something dimensions all at the same time. They did something with one little swirly of energy and some little swirly of testing. This proves I did not read the article. But my point in relaying that, ever so hilariously so, is that even science now can prove that there is a vast more amount of dimensionality than our awareness has ever been aware of before.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my answer to that would be, there is a large portion of humanity that has reached fourth dimensional density, understanding, and perception.
Mm-hmm.
There is also a portion of humanity that is infinitely dimensionally aware. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it is, where is your perception of that dimensionality at any given point in time?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Interesting. How many, I asked you yesterday, how many uh, people on Earth right now are part of the Azra stream? And if they are part of the Azra stream, what are some of their identifiable characteristics?
So we're gonna step it back a little bit with that. So you go first reflection, Council of Nine, into the zzz. It's a vibration. There's no name to it. I'm aware that the channeler by the name of Lee has deemed it Z Nation. Um, and then you get more into the Galactic Community, but from the zzz flows through Asgard and Azra energy streams. And what we have witnessed from this individuated perception, and that is very key terminology, my loves, that Azra energy tends to power female vessels, and Asgard energy tends to power male vessels. And part of the reason that there's a zzz and, those points of reflection and counsel is, the further you go out into the infinite ultimate thunderdomes of energetic exchange, the less gender or sexual connotations there are, because that is unnecessary at certain points of vibrational experiences, right? So I am blessed to know quite a few souls in the physicality of what we would consider physicality that are powered by both Azra and Asgard energy streams. Um, and part of that is, it by the vibration, it by the feels. Are you two peas in a pod? You just click very quickly right away. Um, as far as characteristics, channelers, those that are sensitive to energy, those that find a healing path, those that may have gone through a lot of folly in the early years of their life for the purposes of learning and understanding, to become their best and highest selves quicker through adult life. Um, those would be some of the characteristics. We're not sure how to explain really the human characteristics of it, because it's more of like a taste and flavor of the energy stream. You had also asked me if we felt that you were of the same energy stream. And my very quick innate response was, not Azra energy, but close to. So if you were to go through that first reflection in the Council of Nine, the energy stream that powers your vessel, my dear Ani, and the energy stream that powers my vessel, um, this is not the proper way of saying it, but it's the way the human mind can understand it. We're right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, thank you, universe. That is a very beautiful metaphor that we will offset. We are very grateful for that metaphor. So think of the sun star portal, the sun to Mother Earth that we are all aware of, and think of their solar flares. So if the sun star was the first swirly of energy through the nothing, and then each solar flare that occurs off of that was a type of energetic stream.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that solar flares have their own solar flares, right? So you can have a main solar flare and then offshoots of those solar flares off of that solar flare. Well, in the grand longevity, it goes right back into that same energetic swirly.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a good visual metaphor for the human mind to conceptualize. Thank you, universe, of how to view the different energy streams that power different vessels within the human realm and other galactic realms.
Mm-hmm.
So, in using that as a metaphor for the visualization of understanding, thank you, universe. My dear sister Ani and I basically were like two solar flares that shot out from the main base at the same time. So, very close,
Mm-hmm.
close enough that you and I have this really good fluidity with each other with connection,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily the same energetic stream with the understanding that it all emulates from the same source.
Mm. It's so fascinating.
I'm actually very grateful to the universe for that metaphor
Yeah, that was an amazing. I'm like, yeah, that's a great
because
visualization.
I'm
It
gonna
makes
have
sense.
to write that down when we're off of this to use
Well,
later.
I'll just give you the transcript. So
But that's also another way that people watching this can see how channeling works.
yeah.
That what I have learned is the channeled information that is much far out of my individuated consciousness is what flows through naturally without question and without thought.
Mm-hmm.
And then what occurs is when somebody else asks the individuated vessel of Jennifer a question, the infinite energy will flow through. And
Mm-hmm.
then if the energy can feel that my individuated consciousness is like, help me explain this better, please, with words,
Mm-hmm.
then beautiful metaphors such as the sun that everybody is aware of, with the solar flares that most are aware of, and how those flares look and go is a great metaphor to look at the infinite energy streams that power vessels and such.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What do you think is the great attractor in the universe?
Non energy and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess the easiest visual to explain in the levels that we have been blessed to perceive it is if you were to picture, this is why I like bubbles, because it is not just a circle and a bubble goes all the way around, right? Oh, that's fine. The screen just did hearts on my thing. Thank you, universe. Huzzah. Apparently we're on the right track. So
That's hilarious.
I'm laughing. That is the way of the universe saying spot on, child. You want messages from the universe. Huzzah, there you go. Um, but if you picture like a bubble, there was the nothing, the void, 0 point. Again, different words for the same thing. And then there was something. And so the great attractor is whether we are cognizant of it or not, we are always flowing energy through the void, and the
Mm-hmm.
void is in tandem flowing energy through us. So it almost reminds me of the infinity sign. There's that little pinch in the middle of the infinity sign, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that little pinch-a-doodle area is, in essence, the void, the 0 point, the nothing. And on each side, there are layers of frequency and vibration that go through. And, well, okay, universe, we will offset this. In 2020, during the great cootie time, when everybody was made to be a little bit quieter, um, the universe was flittering through our beautiful brain. And as we flow love, grace, and gratitude through the nothing flows love, grace, and gratitude through us. So it's a quantum fluctuation of
Mm-hmm.
energy always. So you asked what the great attractor is. We're all walking each other home on a different path, whether we realize it or not, and in a different way, in our own unique way. We are all energy, and that is our commonality, our frequency. We are all frequency and vibration. And the great attractor is energy is a magnet. Energy within itself is like its own massive magnet. And to me, in my individual experience, I have wanted to learn everything and anything that I can with the understanding that the more that I learn, the more that the group consciousness learns and the subtle energy fields learn. And the more that all of that experience will flitter through all of the vibrations of energy as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that is kind of the great magnet. I seriously think like Black holes and event horizons are an example of that magnetism in a
Mhm.
tangible format, because they're like the great eaters and spewers of energy within themselves. And it's almost like a magnetical force that, whether we realize it or not, the stars and the galaxies are moving towards.
Mhm.
But even as science has witnessed black holes and event horizons drag in pulsars and quasars and different star systems and things of that nature, they have also more recently witnessed they spew out energy as well, which creates more energy.
Mhm.
So as the humans love their tangibleness of life, the scientists have also figured this out with their galactic kingdom.
Does Azra, well, Azra said a lot. The Azra stream. Does Azra or you want to say anything to the people right now, like for like the next month? Because I'm sure you'll come back on again and do another channeling.
Oh, most definitely. I super
Yeah.
much appreciate these opportunities,
Yeah.
my friend. In essence, the goal is always to be our best self. Everything that goes on around you to a degree can be just a distraction. And if you find yourself distracted by the greater universe, hone back into yourself. Nothing is achieved by beating yourself up by anything. So if you find a circumstance within your life that you are not fond of or proud of, love yourself through it. Love yourself for being brave enough to have the experience in the first place. And breathe, my friends. Air is a vital life force that is often forgotten. I first learned this from Mama Darlene from the Center of Sacred Studies, to give credit where credit is due, that most of us shallow breathe. We don't actually breathe deep into our bellies. And more recently, to further this, the universe has gifted me with somatic movement with breathing. Most would think of somatic breath work as laying still and going through layers of breathing to move energy within your body, right? But we as humans can hold a lot of stuck energy in our shoulder area and our hip area. So, in the last 3 months, to further the importance of breathing and oxygenating all of the cells of our body, the universe has kindly gifted us with somatic breath movement. And I will actually be holding classes with this coming up soon. But the other way of thinking of this is we are 70% water within our system, but it is a breath of life for a reason, my friends. Because when we take a breath, that air goes into our lungs and then it nourishes our heart and our cardiovascular system, which in tandem nourishes our entire body. When we breathe and take a deep breath, we oxygenate our mind, which allows for further clear thinking and clarity. That was going to be thinking and clarity as one word at a point there. Um, so the encouraging level that the energy as a whole from the universe, remember to breathe, my friends. Even if something takes your breath away, frequently when something frightening or upsetting happens to us, many of us have heard the phrase, it takes our breath away, right? Or we forget to breathe, or we hyperventilate. So if you find yourself in a moment where it is hard to breathe, those are the moments that you need to remember to breathe. So remember to love yourself. Remember to be kind to yourself. One thing that I work with some of my clients with is treat yourself as you would treat a 5-year-old child. Give yourself that same love, kindness, understanding, grace, and guidance that you would a small child. And that is the way that you should always try your best to treat yourself. Many of us have found that we can be our own worst enemies, and recalibrating that into being your own best friend.
Mhm.
And that is how you flow through what you go through. When you have the proper tools in your toolbox to be your best self, like breathing and taking care of yourself in different manners, that is how you learn to flow through life regardless of what is happening around you.
Mhm. Thank you, Jen.
Oh, thank you. I
Love you,
super
sister.
much love doing these and love you very much, my dear sister Ani.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Ah, yes. Have a good day, everyone.
And night.
Yes. Bye, everyone.